So, like, you and I don't really know each other that well, do we?
Yeah, not really.
No.
Not really.
Yeah.
I can't say we do, Brandon.
Yeah, we don't. I mean, we met that one time.
But I was like grilling David, and you were just
Yeah.
there for it.
Yeah. Well, everybody was grilling David. I remember that.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, there was like a campfire, and it was like David was the campfire.
100%.
Like everybody
It was incredible.
around him. And that was that night, and we talked. I think I was drunk, you were high. I can't remember, but I can't remember. That's the only time I think we've ever
encountered
talked.
each other at like parties and little like functions and like random things. Maybe like a birthday dinner or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
like random stuff. But that was the only time we ever really had any kind of like in-depth conversation. But it was for like 9 seconds.
Yeah. And that seems to be kind of like the norm, like in amongst like people that we like mingle with. You know?
Yeah, in like the social media world.
Yeah, it's always just like, oh, I kind of know that person. Like, oh, hi, and then they're like, hi, and then that's like kind of it.
Yeah,
you know?
100%. People kind of fabricate that and pretend they know people more and like just all that like bullshit. 100%. Like distinguishing what like real actual friendship and getting to know what getting to know people actually is like in this world can be clouded, I feel like.
Well, yeah, it can be. Well, I mean, it's just in the space that everybody's in. I feel like since everybody's doing the whole YouTube social media thing, I think that since it is kind of surfacey, it actually kind of forces these kind of like fake kind of like friendships.
100%, like building everything up to be more than it is.
Yeah, because that's the nature of social media 100%. And YouTube and shit. But like you haven't had a good few months, have you? You haven't.
Just straight into it.
No, I'm like you haven't had a good few months.
No, I really honestly have not had a good few months.
Yeah,
it's been rocky. There's been good parts. Don't get me wrong.
Oh sure.
But, you know.
But like, how does like, because you're 20.
Yeah.
How does that like because you're so young and having like a controversial few months is like is it kind of like impacting, is it making you grow up quicker?
100%.
It is?
I think that it makes you learn and grow so much more so quickly. Mm-hmm. And it's so funny because like I was telling you earlier, like I was born and raised in Vegas and I already felt like I grew up very quickly just in general, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then this feeling of like that growing so fast, like the person I was in like January, I literally feel like 5 years older than, you know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
But like I'm not, it's the same year, like you know what I mean? But
yeah.
Like
but it's because so much has happened.
You mentally grow so much,
Yeah. So
100%.
So the like
it's been like the worst best year of my life, you know?
That's funny because like I think if the only way that you can kind of either grow or whatever is by having bad things happen to you and by making those mistakes. And I think
and that's kind of been my life always, you know, just having bad shit happen to me and like learning from it.
From like the beginning.
Yeah, literally. I was born into like that life.
Gotcha.
Like good luck, bad luck. You know what I mean?
Because you're from Vegas. You're from Vegas.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I mean,
I am.
Fortunately
and unfortunately.
I mean, you like it, don't you? I mean, it's Vegas. It's dope. It's Party City. It's not like the store, but like the actual place.
I feel like growing up there, that wears off very quickly. And then you're just in this like weird city that's very like money, like sex, like driven. Like, you know what I mean? Like alcohol driven, and you're very like over that. And you're like, what?
It's like living at Disneyland for adults.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And no one should ever raise kids there. And I feel like most people know that, but clearly my parents, you know, did not. But I'm also happy with like everything happens for a reason, I guess. Like I wouldn't want to be in any different shoes or any different life, even when things are as bad as they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I wouldn't change anything, I guess you would say. But.
So you have when did you start YouTube? That's what I'm curious about.
Like 3.5 years ago.
You only started 3 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
And shit.
Maybe like a little more than that now.
You started like 17 then? You started when you were like 17?
Like 16.
16.
Like, yeah.
And
16.
And you had...
I really like...
And you were like, what? Who did you look up to?
Like Shane.
Shane.
Like pretty much Shane. I mean, there were other people I liked, Jenna Marbles. I liked people, but like look up to. Like I want to emulate. Like I love them. Like it was Shane.
You wanted to emulate?
100%.
Yeah. Like did you want to like do what they did, or do you want to like be those people? Because those are two different things.
Yeah, that's very true. No, I wanted to do what Shane was doing in the sense of being like vulgarly, rawly himself, being openly like fucked up, I guess you would say. Like, I'm fucked up. I've had a dark past. I've been through a lot. Like I'm weird, you know, but like
not sugarcoating anything.
Exactly. I wanted to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I was inspired by that, I guess you would say.
And so you did it, and it got more and more popular. Yeah. And then you decided to throw that convention.
I mean, yeah, a lot happened in that
in
span.
that span of time.
But I like how that went like that.
I was just like, it grew and grew because I'm just doing like clip notes.
You made a YouTube channel, you were inspired by Shane, and then you threw that convention, and that's it.
It's like a week. It's like only a week. No, and then you threw the convention, and it didn't go that great.
No.
And then that affected you how badly? Like, was it like really? Was it like devastating?
Yeah.
Or was it like? So
very.
Like, how did you? I guess I'm just wondering.
I mean, a lot of people. Well, go ahead.
That's so much responsibility to be handed. Is this big convention? And like you said, because you said you did an Instagram Live thing, right? Like you did Instagram Live 2 nights ago, and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna like kind of impulsively do this.
I'm very impulsive as a person.
So TanaCon was an impulse. Was it impulsive?
I think it was impulsive, and like there, were like impulsive aspects to it, but also like it was driven by a lot. I've talked about this like a lot.
Oh yeah, no, I know you've talked about it to death. I just don't. I don't really know anything about it.
Yeah,
I'm more coming at it from this 20-year-old girl. I mean, because we don't really know each other that well. Like this 20-year-old girl, she decided to throw a convention. And conventions take a lot of time to plan and to set up and everything.
So in that sense, very impulsive. Yes.
Yeah, it's impulsive, and it didn't work out, but it's because of I think the impulsivity of it, right? That's why, I mean, right?
Yeah, the impulsivity, like just
like planning,
poor planning. Yeah, 100%. Not taking enough time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it was driven by impulse, and also just like I had said in videos and stuff, like going to VidCon, having a bad experience, like wanting to
improve that,
wanting to make the good experience, wanting to,
totally
make a different space, wanting to make something coming from like the creator. You know what I mean? I definitely think that I went into it too, like with, rose-colored glasses, wanting it to be better than it could have been, in that span of time, expecting way too much of way too many things. You know?
That's funny. You're like a child of YouTube that turned into a parent. And then you were that parent, and you're like, I want my kids to have a better life than me. And then you're like, and then it kind of like, because that's what most parents do. They want a better life for their children.
Yeah.
And so they end up, because they like try either so hard or not enough, that ends up maybe the kid, like maybe they stumble. That's a lot of parenting. So it's almost
100%. Like 100%. I was seeing like the Emma Chamberlains and like other people, like coming up and like getting ready to go to VidCon and like seeing how many times I was like fucked over there. Like I just wanted to make it better, but it was also fueled with so much like ego and spite against VidCon and impulse and like so the combination of all of that just blew up in my face, and I thought I was smart then, I thought I knew things like then, you know what I mean, but like that learning experience, like failing that hard in front of millions of fucking people and just like it blowing up in your face, like it teaches you so much. You can feel like, you know what I mean? Like, I felt like I was on top of the world doing something so great to come crashing down so instantly and start mentally and just on social media, like from the ground up again,
Yeah.
Like 3 years into my career, I didn't expect that.
Totally.
Yeah.
So that happened, you learned a lot from it.
Yeah. I'm still learning a lot.
You're still learning a lot from it. And then you, did you like think like, oh, I'm going to do another one of those? Or are you just like, that's a one and done thing, I'm never doing that again?
It's so interesting. I haven't really like talked about this at all.
Yeah.
But like that after doing TanaCon, I was expecting, because of how much it failed, like every company ever to kind of be like, oh my God, like get away from me, like you're Tana from TanaCon, like I don't want,
Sure.
But like so many companies, I feel like ended up seeing that it did like draw in a lot of people. It was just like the planning, everything went so wrong. Like what if it were done so right? So I ended up getting like a lot of offers to do another TanaCon.
Like it's almost like this was like a prototype. Like why don't we try and make this something better?
Yeah. And I didn't know, I still don't know if I'm like ready for that. When it was like, when everything happened, and even now, like I was never like, okay, well now it's time for another one. This one got so much attention, like whatever. That's so stupid. Like of course there's a part of me that like all of the good intentions, still live. That's really bad verbiage. I'm so sorry, but like
the good intentions of what you wanted to do with TanaCon.
Yes, I still want to. I would love to see that come to fruition, though, even if it wasn't me. Even if it was influencers or people in this space making a convention that's actually more about the influencers and the fans and all that kind of stuff. Of course, I want to see that idea, that dream, that vision come to fruition. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So a part of me will always like want that to happen, but I don't know. I know if I were to go into it again, it wouldn't be so ego driven, so Tana, you know.
Yeah. It would be more about
like
the customers.
Exactly. If anything, I would want to be like working on the behind the scenes of some event, just learning about the industry more, I guess.
Yeah.
So I don't know the cut and dry answer to that question.
Because it's weird. It's because it's like I can see, because there's a lot of outrage over that, and I can see the outrage, but then I can also see you're just doing this new thing that takes a lot of planning. It's like a convention, and it's like it's hard, and there's like the outrage, and then it's just like a bad overall thing.
Yeah,
that
the
happened.
Combination. Yeah, 100%. But I think that going back, I shouldn't have been so like selfish, I guess, and thinking of only like me, and even just like the image of TanaCon and the creators and all of that. Like I should have never put people who love and support me or love and support my idea in harm's way. Obviously, I didn't know it was gonna happen.
Yeah.
But that doesn't excuse
it doesn't
anything.
negate anything.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
and I get that. Yeah.
Yeah, like so I still like fucked up very much in that sense, and like obviously living with that isn't fun or fresh.
No. It's fun and fresh.
Yeah, I cannot stop saying fun and fresh.
Why are you saying it so much?
I don't know. Honestly, it's James Charles' impact. Everything he says is so funny and creative and new, and I'll just like hear him say something, and it just like is instantly ingrained in my like day to day. I always have like a weird catchphrase.
Sure.
It's so that fun and fresh is it.
Fun and fresh is the new one.
Yeah.
Huh.
Fun and fresh, good and fun and fresh, good and fresh and fun.
Copywritten by James Charles.
Yes. Give full credit to James Charles.
Give him 15 cents every time you say fun and fresh.
100. He deserves it. I'll be PayPaling.
So, one other thing I was wondering, because I saw something about you. Well, I mean, this other thing that I was wondering was about I don't know if you want to talk about this, but like the Mac Miller thing. We don't have to. You don't have to talk about that. It's fine. But I was just wondering, like, where, like, that's also like that was the next thing. That was the next.
Yeah. I know that.
It's
that's
hard.
what was so.
Because that's a giant. I feel like that's more of just a giant misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
But I also could have thought of people misunderstanding that, and I didn't. So I take full accountability and like blame for anyone who's angry, and I'm so sorry to anyone that was upset through any of that.
Yeah.
But also, I guess after TanaCon, like
because it's like a blow and then another blow.
Exactly.
That's more what I'm getting at. It's like
exactly.
Okay, you go from TanaCon like, oh, I had a good couple months, and then it's like another blow, and then like
I just wasn't ready for it. It was like TanaCon took the life out of me, the wind out of me. It knocked me on my like ass like nothing ever has in my entire life. Going back home to that and living with that, and like the one thing I love the most in the world is the people who support me, and letting them down that hard, like that guilt and anger and fucking hatred, and trying to make it right, and realizing that people like that you trusted fucked you over so hard, and finding out the dark sides of the industry, like dealing with all of that darkness, like I feel like spiraled me into like depression. And I feel like literally the one person who was like there for me every day and like got me out of it was like Mac. Like he was
that guy for you.
And like, but like hardcore, just like he was very incredible, like so positive and so like whatever. And it just like him like passing away was just so unexpected. Yeah,
totally. It was unexpected, but and then like you were like you wanted to show that you were sad about it, right? That you were like really like upset about it.
I think it wasn't really about showing me and then I'm sad. Like it was more so like
showing your
like the day he died. Like I posted that literally like hours after I found out. Like I just like getting on social media and getting on Twitter and like seeing like the whole world like dehumanizing this like human. You know what I mean?
Sure,
like he's Ariana Grande's ex, or he's just another like rapper lost to drugs, or just like first ex, like now him, like don't do drugs, kids. Like just literally the day he died, like seeing people like already like selling like merch, like don't do drug shirts and shit, like on my Twitter timeline, just like
in your eyes he became like this like symbol for like don't do like another like well we lost another one. Like it almost like a statistical kind of
society
thing.
Is so like just like post a black and white RIP post and like you move on,
Sure,
like watching the world go on. I guess,
and in
your eyes it still is hard for me, like every second of every day.
And
it was just like I wanted people to like see him for who he really is, you know, like
yeah.
And I, looking back now, I have to realize that like the way I saw him, I can never make people like see that, you know.
Yeah.
But like in the moment, it was just like, dude, like
totally,
he was a real person. These are his words. Like he was there. Like, you know.
I know. I think other people thought that you were making it like about you when it happened.
In a way, like looking back, like that was stupid. I should not have posted it. In a way,
sure,
that is making it about me.
But
like,
the intent. But the intent. I know what the intent was. But I'm saying from the outside, it's the same thing with TanaCon, where there's this intent that's misconstrued.
But I think over the past 6 months, I've really learned that intent isn't always good enough.
Okay.
Like that's one of the biggest lessons I've probably learned. Intent is great, and like the people who know me know my intentions. The people who are around me saw me and Mac. Like the people who were around me saw me plan TanaCon. The people,
totally.
But the public, I have you, me, everyone. We have these jobs where we're on this platform and people are all watching you from what you put out in the world, and intent isn't always enough. Like it just, it was such a decision to post that was so fueled by emotion and just like anger
and emotion kind of can make you like do things that you wouldn't normally do.
I'm very impulsive when I'm like emotional as a
sure
person.
Yeah, I feel like most people are, and I mean that was just something I was wondering, because like I said, like since we don't know each other that well, I don't have your number or anything. Well, now I do. But I didn't before, and so I didn't know I didn't know your perspective on any of this stuff. And
and I only ever really like have spoken about it like on No Jumper, like in an interview, like right after. So now like this is weird for me, even just talking about it, like normalizing it, like it's just so like it just isn't real to me, like still, you know what I mean, like
that thing,
like him dying.
Oh
just my like trying to move on and talk, like when people ask, it's like I should answer, you know, like they want to know. I posted it to social media, whatever, but like it's.
So you're saying that you still can't believe that happened?
No,
with
like,
Mac.
well, yes, but I'm saying like, when people like right now, like you asking me about that, so like tell me about that, like trying to talk to you about it right now is so hard for me, because like I don't, like trying to normalize that's going to keep happening to me maybe for a long time.
Sure, yeah. No, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like trying to normalize that.
The conversation.
The conversation about what happened.
Yeah.
And the same thing even about like TanaCon and about these controversies and stuff. Like that's something you have to try to normalize.
Yeah,
like,
TanaCon is easier because it's, you know, been time I've talked about it more.
For sure, And well, I mean that's terrible what happened with Mac. It's horrible.
Yeah,
but like, are you doing good? Like, are you doing good right now? It's a weird question. It's a very vague question to ask, but I've always, because it's weird when you ask somebody that question.
Yeah.
Are you doing good? Because then they'll be like, oh, well, like, especially, you know, if you ask an influencer that question, they'll be like, oh yeah, like things are going good in my career. Like things are like, oh, I'm getting a lot of brand deals, or my videos are doing well. But then you ask like, okay, are you good?
And it's so weird too, because I feel like society conditions you to kind of like, you know, when someone asks you, are you good? You just, I'm good, like whatever. Like,
well, yeah, I mean that's most conversations that you have with people who work at like Ralph's, and they're like, how's your day going? You're good. If they go, how's your day going? Well, let me tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
I've had the worst fucking week. My wife cheated on me. This, you know what I mean? If you actually, no one really like wants that. I feel no one wants to hear. I mean, people want to hear it, but they're thrown off by it because it's strange.
We normalize just pretending like we're okay, I guess, for the most part.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to kind of like learn to not be like that, you know, to look at you and be like, no, honestly, like, no, I'm not, you know, like right now, like I just, you know, it's hard.
So right now you're not.
No, I definitely don't feel like I'm great right now.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, like mentally. I feel like work and stuff is finally like, like I was saying to you earlier, like TanaCon happened, and then I, you know, started to get back on my feet and started to like, after, you know, like regain, you know, like who I am and how I feel about things and happiness and whatever, and then just like Mac. Yeah. It's like one step forward, you know, like 1,000 backwards. And it's, I don't know. No, I don't feel like I'm mentally like
100%.
Yeah.
Are you going to like therapy or anything?
No, I probably should be. I feel like I've just been kind of drowning myself in like work and
trying to distract yourself with work.
Make content that I like love again and stuff to try to like get, you know, like be happy again and surround myself with those who do make me happy and, you know, tell them I love them, like cherish every moment.
Totally,
But, like mentally, no. I feel like it's probably like the worst mental state I've been in like all of my career. Like
really?
Right now, yeah.
Well, I mean, because I'm only trying to like, I'm only trying. Yeah, it happens. Like I was at that point once where like I was really just depressed overall with like everything. I think
That's
it was
exactly how I feel. Just super depressed, super like empty.
Yeah, with everything. I remember I was once. Do you remember? Like I was on Vine. Yeah. You remember Vine? So I was on that, and then that ended. And then I got really depressed because that ended because I didn't have this like outlet to do anything anymore because I didn't get it. Yeah, and I didn't have.
Depressing that could be.
It was sad in less of in more of a sense of like creative. I have no outlet anymore.
Exactly. And so losing your creative outlet literally.
It like shatters you. Yeah.
100%. I'm sorry.
No, I mean it's fine. I'm over it now. But that happened, and then at the same time, I was going through this like weird breakup, and then I was also I was riddled with fucking like acne and shit. I just felt like I was like, this is the lowest I'm ever gonna be in my life. And the only thing that helped was, I guess I had to just go like, well, this has to improve. Like I told myself this has to improve, not this will, but this has to improve. Not even from a like, let's make this improve. I was like, well, this is just going to get better.
100%. I get that. I just feel like for me, every time I start to think that, something like worse happens.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And so it's like I'm scared to even think with that like mentality anymore, because it's like if I go to think like, oh yeah, no, like everything worse has happened to me, like nothing, like what am I gonna do? Like something worse is gonna happen. Like, you know what I mean? I'm even just scared to look at life with that outlook anymore.
Look at life with a positive outlook? Sort of?
I guess so.
Because you're afraid that it'll like the universe will just be like, nope, and then like shove you back down.
That's my whole life. Like that's just like, you know. So I try to go into things now with no expectations. You know, if it's good, I'm surprised. If it's bad,
that's good for sure. Yeah. Going into something with no expectations, good. But to have not a positive outlook.
I think that I'm positive in certain ways. Like, I love what I do. I love making content. I'm super, you know, stoked on my new video, or I'm super, like, whatever. But, like, and I'm positive about what I can be. But when it comes to, like, you know, like, when you get in bed at night, like, how you really feel, like, I'm just depressed. You know what I mean?
You mean that blackness?
Yeah.
That, like, like, darkness? Like,
100%.
that's that darkness before you go to bed?
Or just when you're alone, really, with your thoughts, actually. When you're alone with reality in the negative sense, I guess, you know.
But I feel like that's most people, though. I mean, like, I feel like even take away, you know, what we do, you talk about a guy who works at like Applebee's, like a waiter. He works all day, he has a job, he has whatever, a girlfriend or maybe a wife and kids, and he goes to bed and he has that darkness. It's just like, what the fuck am I doing? What is going on? Like, what am I doing? Should I have done something else? Somebody who's probably like I don't know, like a famous baseball player. Don't know any baseball players that are famous, so let's just call him Steven. Steven the famous baseball player. He's multi-millionaire. He's the biggest baseball player in all of the land.
I love that for him.
And
good impression fun.
Yeah, good impression fun. And then he also goes to sleep and he has the same feeling that Applebee's guy does. It's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, we all battle, and I think that's another thing that this is teaching me as well. Like, we all battle our own darknesses, and we all battle our own demons, and we never know, you know, like someone else's darkness or whatever someone else is battling or whatever. Yeah. And it's hard too, because there's the part of your brain that's always gonna want to tell you, like, you know, we're so lucky that guy at Applebee's has it worse. Like, I never want to, you know, or whatever. Like, I never want to seem ungrateful for my like reality or whatever. Like, I'm so lucky in so many senses and so happy in so many ways, but you know, it's not always like enough to fill that void of whatever's super depressing, I guess.
Yeah, I get that.
But I think that the first step for me is being more honest about that and not putting on such a strong, like, I'm always happy, like, front, you know.
Yeah, you don't want to put on that like I don't like to use the word mask.
Yeah, no, but
because I feel like that like is being used a lot, like that, like, oh, put on a mask every day.
Yeah.
But like that, you don't have to put on that.
It's a really good like.
It's a good
metaphor. For it.
But yeah. You see that Star is Born movie?
I have not yet. Did you already see that? It's been out in theaters for like
No.
a day, but I liked that. Oh, was it like the weather? Was that?
Yeah. Just like, what about the weather?
Okay,
huh?
I thought there was like a billboard and you were really asking me, and that's where this conversation was going. I'm sorry.
Because when you start talking about like when I
the weather's nice. I know.
Yeah. No, when I keep going like lower and lower into those like oh yeah, like fuck man, life. I'm always like, well, where can I go from there? You know what I mean?
100%.
Like, and I'm like, well, at the weather.
Yeah.
And that takes me back to the small talk conversations where I'm like, I actually really like those conversations.
Really?
I love small talk because it's so nice. Because it's just like, you see a Star is Born.
That's so funny.
You see the weather and like, it's cold. I mean, dude, it's gonna rain next week.
You are so unique for that. Like
for liking small talk.
Yeah,
I love it.